No watch party. I'm only going to do a watch party on special occasions. I found that I don't enjoy. Look, I do so many videos already, and I don't necessarily enjoy the games. I love you guys, but I don't enjoy the game as much as I do when I'm by myself and I can actually take in what's going on, and I'm not like constantly interacting. So I'm just not crazy about watch parties anymore. I will do it on special occasions, like I said, like maybe a nationally televised game that's a huge game or something like that. I'll do it. But for the most part, what I'm going to aim towards doing is games that I really care about. I'll come on live like after the fact. So we'll just jump on that night for a post game recap, and then we can discuss some of the press conference stuff because it's released like right after the games anyway. So why not? But yeah, so that's what we'll do. So next stream, that's what we'll do. Oh, but anyways, okay, listen, shut up. Jeremy Sohan, what do you have to say?
How's these last couple games been for you? Just trying to run point and get used to that.
Yeah, it's been good.
Jeremy Sohan always copying my hairstyle, man. Look, he's always copying me. This is what he does. He just copies me. Also, I need to trim the sides. Oh my goodness. Always copying me, man. Going for the platinum blonde. Ridiculous. I did it first. I didn't, but we can say I did.
Ups and downs, of course. Again, I haven't played for 7 months. A lot of us haven't played for that long, so it's just getting back to the rhythm and just growing as a team, as individuals.
So you're not feeling like Magic Johnson just yet?
Not yet. I think I'll get there, but again, it's gonna be a process for sure.
How would you describe your role when you're the point guard? 'Cause it's not a traditional point guard thing you guys are doing.
No, I think it's just bring energy, keep the pace fast, and just run the floor. And it doesn't mean I have to control it or be the main ball handler, but whoever gets the ball can push it. And just
okay. Can I bring something up? The San Antonio Spurs are getting with the times, and this is something that I probably should have talked about before. But let me bring this up. So let's look up Spurs roster, and I'll tell you what I mean by this. So that whole idea of traditional point guard, I'm gonna be real with you. I think it's kind of dead. All right, maybe not fully, but it's kind of dead, because if you look at our roster right now, there are many players, okay, that can take the ball down or up the court. All right, let's just name some of them, okay? Let's start off with Malachi Branham. That's one. Julian, I've seen him do it. 2. Sidi Sissoko, 3. Graham, 4. Trey Jones, 5. I won't go as far as say Osman, but maybe, but I won't go that far. Jeremy Sohan, 6. Devin Vassell, 7. Victor Wembanyama, 8. Blake Wesley, 9. Do you disagree with any of those? I believe all of those players can bring the ball up the court, and I've seen all of those players bring the ball up the court. And that is how the modern NBA is. There aren't many traditional point guards anymore. Like if you look at even the top teams in the NBA, it's like that. Like you see Memphis Grizzlies roster. We'll just look at their roster. And I don't think this roster is going to be 100% accurate because some players leave and whatnot. I haven't kept up with the Grizzlies like I should. But even if we look at the Grizzlies, right? You got, gosh, I wanted to start with Ja, but I guess I can't. So you got Marcus Smart, who can bring the ball up the court. That's 1. Derrick Rose, 2. David Roddy, 3. Roddy the Body. You got Ja Morant, 4. And I believe there's someone else. Even Jake LaRavia. Jake LaRavia can as well. That's 5. Desmond Bane, 6. So like, and it's like this. If you go and look at every roster is like this. There's at least 4 to 8 players that can bring the ball up the court. And those teams utilize that to the best of their ability. That's newer basketball. And I think the Spurs are finally getting with the times. It just didn't pan out. It didn't work anymore. Like we tried to do it with DeMar DeRozan being kind of the primary point guard. Yeah, it's not really great. DeJounte Murray, he was definitely, even though his play style isn't necessarily a traditional point guard, but we were using him like a traditional point guard. Same with Derek White. Like these were just, it just doesn't work anymore. Like you got to go in a direction, unless the player is just so talented that it can work. But usually you got to go in a direction where anyone can bring the ball up the court, right? And I think that's more modern basketball, and I think we're getting with the times. And it makes you more versatile. I mean, Wemby, I saw him bring the ball up the court quite a few times already. Like it's just nasty. It's nasty work. Versatility is where it's at nowadays, and I think the Spurs know that, and they're going in that direction. So when people say we need a traditional point guard, while I agree that we need another guard, some type of scoring guard that can do many different things. Obviously, the Spurs were hoping that Primo would be that because he could pass, he could shoot, he could play defense. But unfortunately, that didn't pan out. I do think that the idea of we need a traditional point guard is just dead. I mean, even Trey Jones, the most traditional point guard we have on the team, isn't necessarily being utilized as just a traditional point guard. So I don't know. And let me know if you agree or disagree with that, chat. Obviously, this segment is going to be uploaded later, but I want to know if the chat agrees or disagrees with that, if you guys will.
Play with a flow instead of, playing slow and kind of, stagnant. So, yeah.
You don't have to come down and call a play.
Exactly.
You guys aren't really running a lot of set stuff.
I mean, you handled the ball in different capacities last year. What's been sort of, I guess, if there has been an adjustment to initiating more offense on your own? Stuff like that?
Yeah, I think it's, being vocal, being able to communicate. Sometimes, don't get sped up too much. It's important to, calm down when people pressure me. And yeah, just, getting used to it. It's a little different from last year. But yeah, we'll see how it is.
You're in a lot of the matchups that you get when you're bringing the ball up the court, you have a pretty good size advantage on a lot of these guys. How does that change the way you might initiate offense or try to create those different mismatches or take advantage of them?
Right. There's ways to do that. Sometimes maybe instead of, creating something, just walk the guy down to the post and then play from the post. I know that's an emphasis for us. We have a lot of big guys, Vic, Zach, Keldon can play in the post. So I love post work and just, once we're in the post, everyone on the other side can start moving, screen for each other, cuts. It's going to, open up a lot. And then just playing with, screens, slips, cuts again, especially when, teams are switching. That's going to, open up cuts. And it's just, not standing still, trying to move all the time. And create for yourself, but also for your teammates.
Collectively, what would you like to see this team get better?
I would find it really funny if like a reporter asked a question. The same question that he just asked about how do you utilize mismatches as a guard, and he just goes like into this complete like dynamic rant about like every single play that they could go through to do it. Like I think that would be so funny if they went into detail about certain plays. I think that would be really funny. I didn't even see this comment before. Sohan doesn't look that good at point guard. I thought he looked pretty good. I think the only thing with Sohan that's a little worrisome is the offense slows down a little bit when he's point guard. But Sohan does fine. I really want to see how well he does as far as shooting range now, if that improved. That made me a little nervous because you guys recall like someone asked him, I don't know, it was during the summer, but I don't remember why they were asked. I don't know if it was during training camp. I forget. We went over it though, but they basically asked him, hey, what have you worked on during the off season? And he brought up like playmaking, and it's like, yeah, that's great, but like the fans want to hear shooting. Like obviously, so I don't know. I'm a little worried about that because I do want him to be a threat as soon as he passes half court. I mean, not shooting half court shots, but you know what I mean. You get the idea, right? Top of the key, blah blah blah. But yeah. Anyways,
before the regular season starts.
Yeah, I think as always, defense, just communication, playing hard. Recently we've been playing harder than the first game, and just on offense again. Move the ball more. Cut more, off ball, do a little bit more because sometimes, it's a little stagnant. We're just playing one-on-one when it's easier for us and we create way more once the ball starts moving, once we stop.
Let me say this. I think not only is Wemby, I know this is going to be random, okay? It's not about Sohan. Not only is Wemby the best player on the team right now, day one, I also think he's the best off-ball player day one as well. I don't know if you guys like realize it or notices it. He's absolutely ridiculous when the ball isn't in his hands. He's constantly trying to find the open spot. He's constantly making things happen. I don't want to say this in a way where he's like, wow, you comparing him. I'm not. Okay, there's no comparison. It's completely different styles, completely different sizes. But Steph Curry has that same type of impact when he doesn't have the ball in his hand. He's still creating plays, and I noticed that with Wemby. He creates plays when the ball isn't even in his hands, and I find that so interesting. And it's nice to finally have a player for our own that can do that.
Not moving, so it'll be that.
Played the Rockets 3 times in like the span of a week and a half. Like, do you see that as a rivalry that could build throughout the the season and the seasons to come.
For sure.
You guys are kind of in the same boat.
Nah, definitely. I think there already is a rivalry. I think we want to win every game we play against them. We want to, beat them. So I think it definitely will be. And I know they have a bunch of players who, want to get under people's skin and want to play hard too. So I feel like there will be some heads that will clash sometimes, but it is what it is. That's the game.
Say by the third game you guys play, it's going to be a boiling point for you.
It might be. We'll see. We'll see.
There's already a little preview last night. A little bit of chippiness.
Yeah, that was nothing. But yeah.
Does Zach get all his technicals come into your defense? Is that...
I don't know, but I feel bad for him
Let's
because
cost money,
I feel bad for him because he didn't do anything. I remember when he got the technical, he's like, "What?" Like,
Oh yeah, that was
shocked,
funny.
But no, yeah, that was funny.
Did Dylan Brooks deserve his technical then?
I'm not sure. Probably.
We know we get
Except Wemby is better than Steph Curry. Wemby is not better than Steph Curry yet. Okay, we're not gonna do that. July, we're not gonna do that. Wemby's not better than Steph. Come on now. We won't go that far.
Along very well with Victor. How does he adapt to his new life here in San Antonio?
Yeah, I think he's adapting really well. He's learning every day. He's got this mentality that he wants to learn and grow. Sometimes you could be the number one pick and you could be like cocky and you don't want you're the best and you know everything. He's not that type of guy. He wants to learn and grow. So I think that's really important for him. And I think he's liking the San Antonio vibes. I've seen him eat tacos. I've seen him explore. So I think it's been good for him.
How'd you get him to?
And by the way, that's absolutely accurate. I know you guys recall when we were talking about Don Barlow saying that he was even shocked by when Wemby came in during summer league to practice. He was asking him all these questions, and he's like, "Bro, you're the number one overall pick. Why are you asking me, Don Barlow, undrafted? Hello? You want to learn from me?" I found that very interesting.
I didn't get him to do that. Yeah, he just did that. Yeah.
Was it an exact copy of one of yours? Or?
Nah.
Kevin Harlan yelling Wembanyama. I can't even say it the way he said it.
He did his own thing.
Do you think Keldon will be able to get him on a horse?
Maybe.
Yes, Wemby's playing tomorrow.
Probably. Keldon's
tall
crazy.
horse.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if there's a big enough horse.
You brought up the defense a little bit, going back to the basketball stuff. How does having a big lineup like you guys are able to put out there, does it give you an opportunity to change that?
If Wemby's better than Curry, then why aren't there any Curry murals in San Antonio, Clan? Yes. Interesting.
Things schematically when you have that much size defensively?
Yeah, I think especially with that kind of size in the lineup, I think it's important to protect the paint and be able to just show the presence of our length, our hands, and kind of make it chaotic for them, and make them rush into decisions or shoot shots that maybe you could have got a better one, or there's you try to get to the paint, but we're trying to be big and aggressive to the point where.
I just saw a message. She said, "Bruh, for sure." This is referring to what I said about Wemby. "Bruh, for sure, best off ball. The steal from the first preseason game where his foot is on the 3-point line and reaches all the way inside. Yeah, that was ridiculous. I meant off ball offensively though, like on the offensive end, him constantly trying to get open. He's keeping the defense on their feet. Like you can see how the defense is so focused in on Wemby, and Wemby doesn't sit still. Like that's my biggest thing with Trey Young. Like everyone loves, well, not everyone loves Trey Young, but people that get angry when you talk bad about Trey Young, like they think that he is just like the second coming of Curry, and he's not. He doesn't move when the ball isn't in his hands, and that's almost just as important as what you do when the ball is in your hands. Like it's just basic winning basketball. He doesn't do anything. That's what makes Derek White so special to me too. Like he doesn't have to get the stats. He doesn't have to get the flash. He's making sure that he is in the best position to score or best position for his teammates, for them to make something happen. So yeah, I don't know. But things like that, that's winning basketball, and Wemby is so good at it. That's another thing too. He doesn't take any shortcuts. And isn't that incredible though? Coming from Wemby, not taking any shortcuts. And I know Pop is a huge guy about not taking shortcuts, doing the fundamentals, making sure that you do everything the right way, passing to your teammates, being in the right position, play defense. If your three ain't going, don't get selfish and just put up so many threes, be successful in other ways. Like he's all team first. And I think that that's great that Wemby isn't taking any shortcuts, because all of that skill that he has, that didn't come from his size. He would have made it to I'll say this. He would have made, if he was just been a good athlete, yes, say everything's the same as far as his workout regimen, but he didn't work on his skills, he would still be in the NBA because of his height, because of his quickness, because of his natural ability. But what makes him special is that he doesn't take any shortcuts. He makes sure that he is good at everything. He focuses in on everything. And there's so many bigs in the NBA and NBA history that just don't do that. Like, they're good at one thing and they just focus in on that, and they don't really add to their game. I mean, Dwight Howard would get criticized all the time for that, for not necessarily adding a big range to his game as he could have. But yeah, I mean, he was skillful, don't get me wrong. Dwight Howard was skillful, but you get what I'm saying. Like, I don't think that Wemby, in any criticism that he gets, is not going to come from work ethic. It's not going to come from him not adding to his list of his repertoire, essentially tools to his toolbox.
You know, the paint is, you know, ours, so I think it's going to be exciting and it's going to be a lot of fun.
I think the first time you started at point guard was at Golden State last year.
Yeah.
What do you remember of that experience?
Again, it wasn't the best. A few turnovers, guarding Curry. You know, it was tough, but again, I feel like it was a process, and every other game it go better, and you know, just like now, it's gonna be a process, but it's gonna be good.
When you have all that length with Wemby and with Zach inside, do you get to sort of, I don't know, be kind of a ball hawk defensively? Like the other night, there was a play where the ball got in the middle, Wemby was extending his arms, and you came out of nowhere and kind of shot the passing lane. Do you guys get a chance to kind of freelance on the perimeter a little more?
Yeah, I think it's just read and react, and you know, again, that length. Not a lot of players are gonna, you know, want to go up against that in the paint. So again, like you said, they're gonna want to pass out, and then you're just reading advantages, disadvantages, and you know, trying to, you know, read and react. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that was good. That was a good interview. They're like constantly scared of Wemby. Yeah, they're constantly scared of Wemby. Oh my goodness. Good stuff. Good stuff from Sohan. I think the most important thing here is to think about how the San Antonio Spurs are being as versatile as they possibly can. And as far as having a traditional point guard and being worried about, is Jeremy Sohan the point guard of the future? I mean, he can be, but I think that those days are essentially over. Like, I think there's going to be many different players that's going to take the ball up the court. I mean, shoot, you can even see it with you can see it with all the teams that make it to the finals and are deep into the playoffs. And I think the Spurs know that, and they're going in that direction. I mean, shoot, they were trying to find a unicorn type player for a while now with Luka Samanic, but I mean, we got our alien. So anyways, we're going to cut the segment there. Good stuff.